Entrepreneurial Growth by David Garvin Jr. In this presentation, we will cover establishing and extending credit, along with annual reporting and filing for nonprofits. Excuse my voice, as my voice has left over the weekend, but I plan to try to make this presentation the best as possible. Dun& Bradstreet is a company that uses data from businesses and their relationships to give a credit report. All size companies around the world rely on D&B's data. Now, when registering for your DUNS, you will want to make sure that you go into D&B's website to register for that. While you're there, you'll notice that it's free registration for your DUNS, which is your Data Universal Numbering System. Now, if you're outside the U.S., there may be a small fee depending on where you are. Also, uh, D&B offers business solutions, risk management, along with sales and marketing. Now, the reason why you will want a DUNS number, it would be because it can help you assess risks when establishing a working relationship with a particular company that you may end up wanting to partner with and later on within your business venture. Now, they check the DNB rating for business loans as well. You must have a D7B account and DUNS number before receiving grants and federal contracts, especially if you're dealing with a nonprofit. Now, next, you will want to see how your personal credit and your business credit, how they differ and how they come together. Now, your personal and business credit score, they help financial institutions and vendors assess the risk of extending credit to you, as we all know. Personal and business sits alone. However, they can be used if you do not have enough business credit. Now, your personal, you want to stay away from that at all costs. If you do not have to use your personal credit, please do not use it. Your to establish a good credit score, we're going to go through things that will be factoring into making sure that you can keep a relatively good score. That way, you will be able to have lower interest rates or terms or better terms for your business venture. Now, three companies calculate scores: Experian, Equifax, and B&D. Now, you want to always report, and I mean promptly report, any inaccuracies that you may see on any of these three credit bureaus. When you're looking at the scoring and how they're scored, Experian, they score from a score of 1 to 100, while Equifax scores 101 to 992, kind of like your personal credit. And D&B scores 1 to 100, but they use what's called a Paydex report. Now, your negative factors that could possibly hinder you in certain lending situations would be collection accounts, liens and judgments, which will be highly damaging. But if you are in a situation where you have to go bankrupt, this could be lethal to your credit, damaging your credit report for about 3 years if you have liens and judgments. Now, if you have a bankruptcy, that could stay on your credit for about 9 years. Now, so let's get into extending credit to your consumers. So, if you have a business, we all know we want to be able to increase our consumer base. And the way to increase consumer base, especially in the retail way of business, is to have credit cards. As you see, like for females, Victoria's Secret, J.C. Penney's, Macy's, they all have these different credit cards. So they extend credit to their consumer. Now, this can increase your business by 50% or higher. Now, there is a risk. The higher the purchase, the higher the risk is that credit will not be paid back. Now, factors that you would like to consider when you extend credit to your consumer would be your credit risk. That will determine how much risk you can give out as credit. Your credit terms, which is going to determine amount of payback and when it needs to be paid back. And credit qualifications. What qualifies a person to receive credit from you? Now, consumers, uh, when you're having consumers and you're having them do your application, you want to have a simple credit app with that entails references. While businesses, you want to have a credit app application with variety of reports. You want to be also have your credit policy, which establishes a policy that is detailed from application to collections. And then you want to have a credit review. This is where you constantly look at your consumer's credit to see the purchasing and paying off habits. This will let you know if you would like to extend more credit to them or if you would like to um, keep the credit that you extended where it's at. Now, we're going to get into the annual reporting and filing for nonprofits. Is as some of us may know, if you have a business, a lot of us like to do philanthropy work, which also makes the company look good. And so when you're doing philanthropy work, you want to look into having a nonprofit. And so after you go through your basis of building your nonprofit, you want to think about what the annual reporting and filing is like for that nonprofit. So the forms that you will use, or the form that you will use, would be the 990. The IRS form 990 is used for tax-exempt companies to report annually. Small nonprofits that receive $50,000 or less may use the IRS 990N. So that's a different form. IRS gives free guidance on the filling out of your annual report. So if you have a question and you don't know as far as how to fill out that information, you can simply call the IRS. They will take you through step by step on how to fill out that annual report. So now there is no need for you to file a 990 form if the incorporation has never been recognized by the IRS as tax exempt. That goes into you have to file from each state your nonprofit. So if you're in North Carolina, for example, and you file in North Carolina for a tax exempt company and you're granted, that's fine. But until you're granted on a federal level, you will not have to do a 990 form. Now, state filing, depending on your state, you may have to file an annual report yearly or biannually. You have to file in order to keep good standing within your state. Now, as a registered agent, the annual corporate filing generally requires that a nonprofit identify its registered agent, and that is someone who resides or works in the state. And it must be a physical address. It cannot be a P.O. box address at all. Now, as an address, when a nonprofit moves its physical office, it is important to record the change of address with the state, and especially the IRS if the nonprofit is tax exempt. So that nonprofit will receive notices from the state about filings and law changes that may affect that nonprofit. Now, we have come to the end of the slide because this will be available. If you have any questions, you can definitely reach me via our class assignment, our emails, or if you would like to leave a comment on YouTube. I really appreciate everyone for working with my voice today. And if you have anything, let me know. Thank you again.